name is Torrey Smith, and I monitor a child trafficking operation which is being operated in the United States by DARPA and the CIA, and with FBI assistance, which is owned by the Bush family. And I have a large report to do for Saturday night, and I'm a little out of it. They 3 times over the past day and a half, they put this very long needle into my head, and somewhere between my throat and my ear, with some kind of liquid that heaven tells me it was a combination of a virus and some kind of mind control serum that's really never been here on Earth before. And, so I've been working on doing some healing to cancel out the effects from that, but it's still kind of effective. Plus, they've injected herpes in me over 400 times over the past 3 or 4 days, which really gets annoying. They put it right here in my throat, and it just becomes impossible to swallow for a while. But, I always talk about blood zappers. They're wonderful. Healing techniques plus blood zappers gets rid of those horrible viruses. But let's get going on. There's a lot to cover. Saturday, I think it was the 10th. Was it the 10th of April? I think so. 297 children were brought in. This is after 333 children were brought in on Friday. These 297 children were brought in from 2 sources and then distributed to 14 locations. NATO brought 156 children, and they were taken from the Vatican child trafficking company in Vatican City, Italy. And these children have been raped 1,412 times by Vatican staff and Vatican City residents, and also others from Italy. And NATO put them on 3 planes, and 41 NATO males raped 57 of these children 102 times on the way to Langley Air Force Base. AFRICOM picked up 141 children, and they were taken from 3 villages. And what the AFRICOM does is, it's another privately owned company. It's owned by United States. And what they like to do is they go into a small village and they kill all the adults, and then they take the children and then put them into MILABS child trafficking operations where they'll be gang raped and murdered by the elite. And 3 villages, and then these children were raped a total of 218 times there, and then also on the flight to Langley Air Force Base. And then they were divided up to 14 MILABS. Montauk, 6 children were gang raped by a group of 116 males, 97 DARPA employees, 19 CEOs who were being cloned, including Dish Network, Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, GM, Ford, CNN, NBC, Nestle, and 3 other companies. These 6 children were raped by 116 males, 351 times. And they were killed by 6 CEOs of Charles Ergen of the Dish Network, the CEO of GM, Ford, Chase, Wells Fargo, and then 1 military contracting company. In North Carolina, this one was really kind of disturbing. 6 children, well, they're all disturbing, were gang raped by a group of 39 males, a total of 141 times. 26 Russian CIA agents, FBI, and American CIA agents. And all children were killed by Russian CIA agents. And, of course, I wondered, what are they? A lot of times Russian CIA will go to Texas and rape children with the Bush family, because it's basically a few families control, the world. The Bush family, the Windsor family, the Vatican, the Rockefellers and Rothschilds. Those are the main families, because Cheney's really a part of the Bush family in a way. And so I looked at their DNA because I thought, why are all these Russians here? And what came up right away was to oversee the new Holocaust operation, which began on Easter weekend. And the Russians are bringing in 200,000 troops to help the American troops throw everybody in the concentration camps. And then on to Carson City, Nevada. 6 children were gang raped by a group of 82 males, 3 DARPA, 3 CIA, and the rest were corporate executives. and these children were raped a total of 231 times. And the companies were Microsoft, McKesson, Chase, Bank of America, Ingram Micro, Lockheed Martin, Goldman Sachs, Halliburton. I'm not sure if I can pronounce this right. Gilead Sciences is spelled Gilead. Raytheon, Time Warner, and all 6 children were murdered by CEOs. And it was there's so many CEOs involved in Saturday Night. San Bernardino, California, 6 children were gang raped by a group of 116 males. 3 CIA, 3 DARPA, and the rest were all corporate executives. Occidental Petroleum, DirecTV, Amgen, Aecom Technology Corporation, Avery Pennison, Avery Pennison, and Molina Health and Viacom. And there were 3 other Hollywood companies, and all 6 were killed by Hollywood CEOs. In North Dakota, 6 children were gang raped by a group of 49 males, a total of 66 times, and almost all of them military, CIA, FBI, DARPA. And 3 were from Halliburton, and all 6 children were murdered by the 3 executives from Halliburton. In Langley, Virginia, 8 children were gang raped by a group of 116 males, all CIA except for 4 DARPA, a total of 214 times, and all 8 children were murdered by CIA agents. In Arlington, Virginia, 8 children were gang raped by a group of 106 males, a total of 312 times, males of DARPA, Department of Homeland Security, TSA, FBI, and the Air Force, and also Army Special Ops, who actually all 8 were murdered by Army Special Ops. And Army Special Ops is basically doing, well, you know how CIA has been doing mind control techniques probably since the 40s and 50s. And they've been doing all these experiments. Well, basically, if you could just copy and paste all the work of the CIA and put that over to Army Special Ops, that's what they're doing. The difference is the CIA will use civilians and turn them into CIA agents to carry out things like the Charlie Hebdo attack in France, the Paris airport attacks, all these Brussels, all these all these school shootings, Kentucky, Columbine, all these ones are carried out by the CIA. All terrorist attacks are either by CIA or Mossad. Well, they're doing massive mind control on the soldiers. And I think it came up that it was like 79% of the military are now under mind control. 79%. And that's basically what Army Special Ops does. And, well, that, and they would love to rape and murder children. And in Dallas, 12 children were gang raped by a group of 156 males, about half military and the other half of corporate executives, mostly all of them from banks, finance companies, and oil companies. And these 12 children were raped a total of 326 times, and they were killed by corporate executives. In Houston, it was the same thing. 12 children were gang raped by 139 males, a total of 307 times, and it was basically the same, half military, half corporate executives, and they were all killed by corporate executives. And Washington, D.C., MILAB number 2, 29 children were gang raped by a group of 313 males, a total of 959 times. U.S. senators and House congressmen, Pentagon employees, Secret Service, NSA, DHS, Army, Navy, and all 29 children were murdered by U.S. senators. All U.S. senators, except for 2, are involved in MILAB child trafficking, even the women. Washington, D.C., MILAB number 1, 33 children were gang raped by a group of 206 males, all from the Pentagon except for 13 Army Special Ops, and all 33 were killed by military, what they call top brass. In Denver, 33 children were gang raped by a group of 128 males, a total of 356 times. Okay, sorry about that. Where were we? 128 males raped these children a total of 356 times. They were from the police, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, corporate executives, and all 33 were killed by corporate executives, mostly from banking, finance, and oil, computer companies, and military contractors. And the RAND Corporation murdered 9 of these children. In Roswell, New Mexico, 66 children were killed by military males. No, I think I wrote that down right. There were 66 children gang raped by 597 military males, and they were raped a total of 2,007 times. And then all 66 of these children were killed by reptilians, while over 300 watched. And that was, did I say Denver? It was Denver, 33 children, Roswell, 66. They were killed by the reptilians while they watched, which is an Army's training program, because they're teaching soldiers to become very sexually aroused while watching children and people be murdered. And the last one was Dulce. 66 children were gang raped by a group of 712 males, all military, and also Russian troops were there. They called them the Russian military intelligence troops. At least that's what I could get. And all 66 children were killed by reptilians while over 300 males watched. And when they're doing mind control on these soldiers, so the soldiers will actually masturbate and then cheer on the ones who are killing the children. And there was a ship that came in. There were 712 reptilians, and I believe they were all from the Sombrero Galaxy. At least that's where they came from. But I'm a little out of it because I don't know if I said that earlier, but they put this needle in my head 3 times and injected me with some kind of like virus combo serum thing. I don't think it's ever been here on Earth before. And so I'm a little out of it. And, I haven't really been able to think clearly, but, I'm also falling behind in my reports because it's now Tuesday, and I still have Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to do. But, but all this is just so disturbing to deal with or whatever. But all 7 and 12 have been here for a few days, but as of today, they've all been arrested. And those doing the arrests are Procyon, Andromeda, Alpha Centauri, and Tyceti. And for which we're very, very grateful, because it's now over 9,000 have been arrested. And I really wish we could start arresting some of these people here who are planning on putting us all in the concentration camps and killing us all. And one thing that also came up in these DNA readings was, well, it came up a while ago, like last year, they have a much more advanced way to kill us. Because if you remember in World War II, they took our body, they killed us in the camps, and then they took our bodies and threw us out in piles, and then had to manipulate our corpses, and by pushing them into a ditch or whatever, or setting them on fire. But this time it's not that way. It's a much more efficient way to kill, and it really almost completely reduces our corpses to dust. And about 18,000 people have been killed in concentration camps in America so far, and they have mostly been Mexicans because, as a lot of people walk across the borders, they take the families, they take the adults and kill them in the concentration camps in Southern California, and then they take the children and put them into child trafficking because the souls of over 90% of the souls of Nazi war criminals, scientists, and soldiers are here in America, and the other group, 76% of the government of Israel are also former Nazi war criminals who worked for Adolf Hitler. And thank you for your support for these children. Thank you for your prayers, and hopefully this will all end soon. And I also wanted to point out, I can't remember if I said that 14 million American citizens have been infected by the temporals. And what they like to do is they like to come in while we're sleeping, and they've been injecting us with, well, they have a personal file basically on every person on the planet now, except for like a lot of the ghetto areas. In Africa, they'll just say, well, 56 children are there. But they tailor like in the ghettos of America or the poorest neighborhoods, they'll target people with hepatitis C and HIV, smallpox. But predominantly, most of these viruses are cancer viruses, because a lot of people don't know that most cancers now come from viruses, like breast cancer. There's a whole bunch of, I think, 17 breast cancer viruses that have all been created, guess who, by DARPA and CIA in the MILABS system. And, which is why I'm a big advocate of blood zappers and natural healing. But, the other alternative is to go to doctors and to do chemotherapy or whatever. But, it's all your choice. What I suggest people do is create a powerful intent to be healed completely, and then the universe will guide you to the best means for you to do that. Thank you. God bless your hearts, and thank you for your prayers.